Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Chicago Smart Podcast. So, today I am just going to get right into it. And I'll start talking about the Cubs right away. Just want to apologize again. I'd like to make these a little bit more frequent, but unfortunately, work and personal life just take up a lot of time, especially now in the summer, now that the kids are home. They are in camp. So, it does help in the mornings to record these. But I'm going to get right into it. Let's talk about the Cubbies. So, look, they're still in first place. So somebody's probably going to tell me, relax, right? They're still in first place. They're still 3.5, maybe 4 games ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers, and I believe they're 4.5 games ahead of the Cardinals as of this morning. They're playing the Cardinals starting tonight for 4 games out in St. Louis. As I mentioned in my Facebook post yesterday, those that follow me on Facebook or specifically in my baseball group on Facebook know that I was going to fire something up today. Regardless of the result of yesterday, I was going to say this, but maybe not so strongly worded. Over the last 2 weeks or so since the Philadelphia series, they went Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, Seattle, right? 2 away series, 2 home series. Situational hitting has not been there, right? We didn't see it. And I get it that the conditions of this weekend were not conducive to pitching. I get that. And especially Saturday was really, really bad. I know Sunday, yesterday was bad, but I know Saturday was super, super bad out there. You had people just about passing out. You had an umpire that just about passed out. You had somebody just sick. I know Ellie de la Cruz out in Cincinnati was basically barfing out there. In his position, and just it was terrible. The heat was just terrible. This is not about my rant is not about them, not being man enough or being a man's game than it's hot and blow. No, it's not about that. Regardless of the conditions, situational hitting is not there, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you guys a little definition of what situational hitting is. Situational hitting is described as a hitter adjusting their approach at the plate based on the current game situation, such as the number of outs, the position of runners on base, and the score. It involves strategic hitting to advance runners, score runs, or make the most of a specific game circumstances. I just read you a statement that I just got from an AI, right? That doesn't sound anything of what the Cubs are doing, right? In these games, I get it. They won the Pittsburgh series. They did lose the Philadelphia series, and they split the Milwaukee series because they had to, reschedule the second game due to the rain. But in a lot of these games, including the Seattle game, there was not a lot of situational hitting. I know Saturday they hit the ball out of the park a lot, but again, so was Seattle, right? There was no situational hitting. I don't understand about trying to get a 6-run homer. From what I understand, the most runs you get out of a home run is 4 if you hit a grand slam. So them trying to hit a 6-run homer, it's not going to help you, right? Situational hitting, get guys on base, and that changes it. One of the at-bats that I'm going to rant about, I believe, was the 5th inning when they really broke in yesterday and got close to that game. Ian Happ is trying to crank another home run out. I get it that the conditions are conducive to that, but again, it would have been a solo. If he's situationally hitting, and I get it that the guy that follows him may not come and produce, but that's what he is there for, and that is Kyle Tucker. It goes Ian Happ, Kyle Tucker, Seiya Suzuki, then PCA. Guess what happens? And I'm calling this as I'm sitting on my recliner talking to my son yesterday before we went out to a friend's house to enjoy their pool for a little bit. I'm like, that's a big mistake by Ian Happ. He's trying to hit a home run, and they're down. I think by that point, they'd have been down 3 or 4 runs at that point, right? After McGuire, I think Reese McGuire had hit the home run already, right? They're down by 3 or 4 at that point. I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to double check the scorecard. Anyways, to my point, Ian Happ tries to get one out. Wynn takes it back down, out. Kyle Tucker gets on base. Guess what happens when Seiya comes up? Seiya hits a home run. So had Ian Happ been on base, And so had Kyle Tucker been on base, which he was, that'd have been a 3-run homer. They'd have tied the game. But now, situational hitting says, well, we're just gonna try to go for 4 straight. Guess what happens when PCA comes up? I could call that. A blind man could call that, right? Stevie Wonder could have saw that from a mile away. PCA is going up there to go hit a home run because guess what? You can throw the ball on the ground. You can throw it way up. You don't have to throw it middle because he's going to hit it. No, situational hitting calls for you to say, hey, we're down by a few runs and the conditions are not conducive to pitching today. So we're going to try to put up runs on the board. We're going to have to carry the pitching on our back today. The offense is going to have to carry it, right? You're going to have to carry the pitching today. You're going to have to be all. You're going to get all that offense in. They don't do that, they lose because here comes Seattle, and for some reason they keep pitching to Donovan Solano, which is ridiculous to even have to even say that Donovan Solano would give us problems. Coming in, I thought for sure it'd be Kyle Raleigh, right? The big dumper. Yet they kept pitching to him. Can you explain to me why do you keep pitching to a man who has proven throughout the entire weekend that he can take the ball deep and is currently leading the major leagues right now in home runs, who's a very much an MVP candidate despite what John Heyman says? Because John Heyman had the MVP race all but sealed a month ago. It says it's all Aaron Judge. Very much so could be Aaron Judge based on his average. But again, I thought it was more than just average, right, that we're going to judge an MVP on. But I don't want to get in a rant about the MVP. I'm just saying this guy's a perennial MVP candidate, right? Breaking all kinds of records as far as for catchers, right? You keep pitching to him. Tell me, and I just don't understand. Stop pitching to him. There is a base open. If there is a base open, put him on base. What do you got to lose? Put him on base. I just don't understand that they need to have situational hitting. They're going to need to have situational hitting, not only in this series coming up, but throughout the entire season. So by the time they do get to the playoffs, when and if they make the playoffs, that situational hitting is going to help you out. Depending on what reinforcements they get, whether it be pitching that they're going to go get at the deadline, because I'm going to touch on that in a minute, how people are going crazy that they need to go get somebody now, which I kind of touched upon on my Facebook post that I put up yesterday in my baseball group, right? You're going to need situational hitting in October, right? If you want to get through some of these teams. And then right now, unless something changes, those teams look like it's either a combination of either the Mets and Philly or either one, the Dodgers, San Diego possibly. Again, we're talking about this on June 23rd. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. It's still, we're not even at the All-Star break yet. A lot of things can happen. But situational hitting must happen. You have guys in that clubhouse who are veterans that know how important situational hitting is. One of them is Kyle Tucker. He's been there. He's been to the dance. He knows what he needs to do, right? And I get it. Everybody's like, well, Tucker's not worth the money. There goes another $100 million he lost. Last I checked, yes, he is a superstar, but there's 8 other guys batting. So I get it. He's slumping. He's going to slump, right? And just to touch on the Yankees, the entire team slumped for 30 straight innings where they did not score, where they got shut out for 30 innings. It happens. The Mets just lost 7 games in a row until they broke that streak, I believe, Saturday. I'm not saying for anybody to go ahead and sound the panic alarm. I'm just simply saying, here come these teams to knock your head off. And I guarantee you that if they knock your head off, it's going to be harder to get through, especially in that wild card, because that wild card is going to get stacked, right? With those teams I mentioned, right? Right now, the Dodgers look like they might be division champions. I mean, they might keep San Diego at bay and San Francisco, which I forgot to mention. Sorry for not mentioning San Francisco. Maybe, right? But again, that's going to be a stacked wild card, and there's only 3 wild cards. So your division is probably going to be your best route into those playoffs, right? And they're coming to knock your head off. And what's going to probably make me more angry is that if I'm talking about this on this podcast at the end of the year, that the Cubs didn't make it, and one of these other 2 teams, whether it be St. Louis or Milwaukee, make it, they're going to get their head knocked off. None of those 2 teams, in my opinion, are good enough to make it very deep into October. I call me crazy, call me a homer. I think the Cubs have it. I'm not saying that they're World Series contenders because they need pitching, no doubt. I feel like they need another bench bat. That's just me. I don't know, right? I don't know what's in Jed's mind. Obviously, the pitching is at the top of the list on the forefront, but they're gonna need it because I'm tired of seeing Milwaukee defy the odds to say, "Well, this is it, this is it, this is it." Yeah, this Milwaukee team. All of a sudden, 2 days later, they're sitting on the couch just like the Cubs are. They'll lose to the Mets. They'll lose to Philly. They'll lose to whatever hot team is coming through. And there's always an excuse why they just didn't make it. I really feel like if the Cubs make that third, that they're the third seed, technically they don't get a bye. They have to play that wild card team. I feel like the Cubs in a short series are better than any of these two teams, right? I'm sorry. Like, I'm tired of hearing how they're going beyond expectations. At least St. Louis, right? St. Louis are just going to try to go out there and play with their hair on fire, and they're doing great, right? I'm not going to hate on them. They're doing great. So is Milwaukee, but they seem to have this little brother syndrome of we need to beat these nasty old Cubs because they're always making our lives impossible. Gosh, man, I don't seem to remember when was the last time the Cubs won the division. When of the last times the Cubs made the playoffs? Because it seems to be that you guys with the little brother syndrome are the ones that have been making it since what 2021 maybe? Because I guess 2020 was the last time they made the playoffs, but again, that was sort of an open sort of field in a way just because of the pandemic. So I don't understand how these guys, other than being your rivals, which I do admit, we are rivals. St. Louis, Milwaukee, the Cubs are all rivals with each other. When did we come just this big, bad, nasty thing? When? Because I don't remember that. The last time we were big and nasty, Joe Madden was still here and we were defending our title. 2017, 2018, 2019, right? By 2019, you kind of saw something was going on, right? I think 2018 is when Theo said the offense was broken, which I can never understand that comment. But okay, I don't understand why there's no more urgency. I get it; it's June 23rd, and there's a long season to go. Teams are going to slump, bats are going to slump, pitch is going to maybe come back down to earth. Things happen, but if there's no urgency, then you guys are going to be looking up and wondering what the heck happened. We were in control. We slumped, we slumped, we slumped, and then we're too deep in a hole. You do not want to go too deep into a hole to have to fight out of that hole. You fight 3, 4, 5, even 5 other teams just to try to get to the top, to play in a short series. That's the urgency I'm talking about. So I hope that hour 15, hour and a half trip from Chicago to St. Louis at whatever time they arrived last night, or I don't know when they were flying out, because they have a night game tonight, they take it to think. Clear their heads, think about it first, then clear your heads about it. Don't think too much about it, right? But think about it. And please, for the love of goodness, please move Dansby out of the fifth spot. He does not belong in that fifth spot. In that fifth spot, he is grounded to how many double plays? How many innings has he killed? I love Dansby Swanson. Let me just make that very perfectly clear. I have a powder blue Cubs jersey with the man's name and number on it that my wife bought me for my birthday. That's how much I like the guy. It's him and PCA, my favorite. I love them both. Love the entire team. Ian Happ, Nico Horner, love them all. I really do. I love all the personalities on the team. But for the love of goodness, get Dansby out of that fifth spot. He does not belong in that spot. He was batting fine, 7 and 8. Slot him 6 if you must, maybe even 7. Slide Nico up to 5 if you have to, or slide somebody else up to 5. Rework that lineup because I'm telling you, St. Louis is coming, and then here comes Houston in the weekend. We got to face Houston. That's another team, even though they're not in our league or our division. That's a good team. That's also looking to do what Houston does, right? Come out of the trenches fighting. These guys, you have them for 4 games. If you can take 3 out of the 4, don't split the series. 3 out of 4, man, you guys will be butter. Really, 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4, right? And hopefully one of those games is Shota, and Shota looks good. Let's get at it because I'm telling you, these games can also help you get some breathing room away from the Cardinals. You take 3 out of 4, you can push the Cardinals to 7, 6.5, 7 games if I'm doing my math right. You take off 4, let's not even talk about that. A 4-game sweep would even create bigger distance, but let's push some distance away from them. We're going to play them a couple of more times this year. Again, I think our last series at home is against them, right? Let's create some room before we get to the All-Star break. Because we come out of the All-Star break and we're fighting for our lives tooth and nail. I don't know. Next is talking about what is Jed going to do. Nobody is going to trade him a starter. I don't care what Bruce Levine said on the radio this morning. If they get a starter this week or even before the trading deadline, they're going to have to pay a hefty sum. And I get it; they have a lot of prospects. It may be the same prospects that leave at the end of next month for the trading deadline. It could be. It's a possibility. But no executive is going to trade you. I don't care if it's Colorado. I don't care if it's the Marlins. I don't care what team that's down in the dumps. They're not going to trade you anything. Even if Chris Sale didn't get hurt, Atlanta was not going to part with Chris Sale because Atlanta still has aspirations of a playoff spot. Call me crazy. Call them crazy. They have aspirations of a playoff spot because they've done it before. They think that they have the guys to get it done and to make that climb to overtake the Mets and the Phillies, or even get into that stacked wild card race. They're not trading you Chris Sale, whether he was hurt or not. None of these teams are going to trade. Arizona, I think it's going to be a last-minute decision on Arizona. So you're not going to get anything from Arizona. So I would love to know who Bruce Levine is talking about that the Cubs can go get this week or within now in the next week or so. Who? Because I'd love to know what team is willing to trade at this point. And I had somebody have a crazy take, and it wasn't even a fan. I can take a crazy take of a fan and laugh it off and kind of just talk about it. And I wish I could remember. It was an MLB network, and I cannot remember. It was 3 people that were talking in there when they made the Rafi Devers trade from to the Red Sox to the Giants. That why weren't other teams in on this? Really? Like who? There's a lot of teams that could have used Rafi Devers, Cubs included, right? Sure, right? Who turns down a but they weren't asking anybody. Stop making it seem like these teams are snoozing. They really only talked to a couple of teams. There wasn't a lot of teams that were in it. So that's out of the question. That Rafi Devers trade, they couldn't wait to get him out of Boston. And I can talk a little bit more about that, but I think it's been talked to death. I think that it was a communication issue, which they've talked about between him and the organization. But the organization is wearing this one. Sorry. He may have been a pain in the neck, but the organization has to wear that one because it's out there, what he was told in spring training. Cut it out. Stop it. Then you're going to go get David Ortiz, who is very much an ambassador for you guys, to try to say, well, look, here's the text that I try to text them. Don't go there. It's over. Bury it. Because all you're going to make it seem is like you guys are the bad guys. You guys want to get past this? Stop talking about it. But back to the trades with the Cubs, right? They're not going to trade them anything. Anything of value they're not going to get, right? And why is everybody so surprised that Colin Ray is regressing? He is a spot starter at best or something out of the bullpen. He is not a starter anymore. He gave us a really good replacement arm, right? Why Shota's gone and to fill in for Justin Steele as a veteran there, and right for specifically for Justin, right? But he's not going to give you much more, right? He's not giving you much more. He is what you saw, right? Can he make better decisions? Of course he can, right? Better decisions on pitches. Oh yeah, well they call him right, but somebody calls a pitch, you know where to put it. Just because it's a fastball doesn't mean it has to go down the middle, right? You have to learn how to paint the corners and all that. But he's a professional. He knows how to do that. I don't know anything about that. I only know what I see from sitting on my couch, right? And telling you guys about it. I've never hit a major league, pitch in my life or thrown in a major league game. I give those guys a lot of credit. I may be harsh on them, but I give them a lot of credit for what they do. There are very few. Even the bad ones, there are very few, far in between, of a major league pitcher, right? It's maddening that these people have all these answers, but don't provide me teams. Give me teams. You don't have to give me names. Tell me, who are you talking about, Bruce Levine? Who could possibly be trading at this point? Nobody. Even the ones that are in the cellar. Nobody's trading right now. It's not happening. It's just not happening. So no help is coming through that door for you guys. The guys that you're looking at right now, other than Shota coming in, coming back, nobody's coming to that door to save you guys. You guys have to save yourselves. And you guys got to go in there and beat St. Louis. Because St. Louis is going to come in there with their little brother syndrome and all their little crap that they like to pull, especially Miles Michaelis, which I've never seen a more punchable face in my life than Miles Michaelis. I cannot stand that guy. He's just got such a punchable face and his little troll antics that he's going to try to pull. Because it gets to the point where it's just like, dude, just play the game. You don't like us, we don't like you. Just play the game. Stop with the trolling. Stop with the crap. Stop with these little pitches inside, and then start taking offense when guys start pitching inside. Because hey, you're gonna brush us back from the plate. We're gonna brush you back from the plate. Here comes Miles Michaelis with his weird freaking mustache. Why are you trying to hit my guy? Like the time that Ian Happ had a backswing and hit Wilson Contreras in the head and cracked his head open. Wilson didn't have a problem with it. Did it suck for him? Yes. Who wants to get their head cracked open with a bat? Not I. But Miles Michaelis wants to make it. Oh, I gotta defend my teammate. Oh, dude, shut up. Stop it. Like, don't do that. Like, what are you doing? Like, I just don't understand when pitchers and players play that troll game, that crap of the brushing the guy's back and then take offense when your guy gets brushed back. You don't know. In fact, pitchers don't hit anymore. So understand that when you're brushing somebody back and you hit somebody, your best hitter is going to get hit, and it's going to be your fault, right? Like the situation we saw between the San Diego Padres and the Dodgers, which also made me angry with Dave Roberts. Stop playing the innocent lamb routine. If you didn't make that call and it came from the catcher, then own it as the manager of the team. You're the captain, right? You're the captain that drives that ship, right? Ohtani got my respect because when he got hit, he told everybody, forget it, don't come out. I don't want any suspensions. I don't want. Basically, that's probably what he's got in his mind. I don't want any suspensions. I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want a melee. We have a bigger picture that we have to concentrate on, right? But here comes Dave Roberts. Well, I don't know what his problem is with me. Why is Shoti mad at me? Maybe because you shoulder checked him? Maybe because you took offense? Stop it. Stop trying to play this innocent lamb routine. You guys give it to each other, right? Tatis is a troll. He's going to troll you guys, and he presses that button that pisses you guys off. And you guys do it back. But you guys try to be like, oh, not us, not us. We're innocent. We're the Dodgers. We don't do anything. We play clean baseball. Kind of like St. Louis. We have the best fans in all of baseball. Really? There's no fan base that can claim to have the best fans in baseball. I can say that Wrigley and Wrigley, the Cubs fans, they can be a little insufferable sometimes too, and that comes from a Cubs fan, right? Stop it. You guys get yourselves riled up. You guys try to spin this narrative that the little engine that can't. Well, not us. We don't have anybody. You guys are a professional team. Come on, give me a break. Stop with the trolling. Stop with the crap. Same thing with Milwaukee. It's like, if you guys need that little bit of a spark to get you guys going, then do it within the locker room. Don't do it in front of the cameras or do it in front of the media where you want to pretend to have this little brother syndrome. Pat Murphy, their manager, was caught when they beat the Cubs in this last game. F this, F them cheaters, blah, 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 blah. Don't know if he was talking about the Cubs. Don't know if he was talking about the umpires because the umpires were giving up some suspect balls and strikes. I agree with them. They were very questionable. But stop with the little brother syndrome. The little brother syndrome, to me, is annoying. I don't like that. Stop with the we're just this little small market team, and we don't ever win anything. You guys have been winning the division. These two teams have been winning the division since the Cubs basically decided to retool. Let's not even call it a rebuild. Stop with the little engine that could crap, because it's sickening, and it's tiring, because then it starts to just permeate the locker room where everybody starts to believe that, well, we got to fight the big bad. I'm tired of hearing about PCA and, oh my goodness, being the most exciting player in baseball. Okay, well, go develop your own guy so that somebody can start talking about your guys. Like, the stuff that I see on the subs on Reddit about PCA getting beamed, and man, somebody should do something about him, and he looks like Howdy Doody, and I'm tired of his stupid face. Stop hating. You guys got your own players. I'm tired of looking at Christian Yelich and his dumb looking face, but I don't say anything about it. I don't want the guy to get beamed. He gets a hit, he gets a hit. He wants to be a troll, be a troll. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. But you guys want this guy to take a fastball to the dome so you don't have to see him anymore. Like, how sick is that? Like, how stupid are you to say something like that? And I'm pretty animated and pretty heated in this one because it's just something that's been built up and pent up in me for weeks since the last time I recorded this. And I know that sometimes I do a lot of rants on here, but it's just my feeling. I'm a very emotional, very heated guy when it comes to baseball, and I get it. There's players on other teams that I cannot stand, and I can tell you that I might even start a Dave Roberts, hate fan club. I don't hate the guy personally because I don't know the guy personally. I just hate the way sometimes he carries himself as he's just this innocent little lamb. We didn't do anything. Why? What do you mean? What the hell do you expect if Tatis has gotten hit 3 to 4 times in the series? Ohtani is going to get hit. If it's not Ohtani, it's going to be Betts. It's going to be one of your other players. Freeman, somebody is going to get hit. He says that these umpires don't have a feel for the game. That's why he got kicked out. He said that the younger umpire doesn't have a feel for the game. Why are they getting warnings? They're getting warnings because they're telling you to cut the crap short to both sides. They weren't just talking to you, Dave, and the Dodgers. They were talking to Schulte, Mike Schulte, and the Padres too to say, no more. That's it. We're calling it no more. Right? No matter who started it, we're just basically saying that's it, no more. He comes out of the dugout knowing he's going to get thrown out of the game. And to look like a martyr, and excuse me, I don't mean to really use that term, but that's the best term I can use right now. He comes out of the dugout to say, well, I'm going to martyr myself and get kicked out to say, well, why am I getting kicked out? Get an explanation. He just told you. He gave you a warning. He told you, cut it out. No more beating. Because guess what? It's going to get out of hand and somebody's going to get hurt. Luckily, Tatis's hand did not get hurt. He didn't break his hand. Stop it. Whether Pages got hit by Dylan Cease and it was intentional or not, stop it. Cut it out. The game polices itself. Once the two guys get hit, you get a warning. That's it. No more. No more. That's it. But no, here comes Dave Roberts to spin this that we play the game clean. We're this, we're that. Why are they hitting Ohtani? It even took us so far as I believe it was John Heyman, and I can't remember who it was on MLB Network. Why do you have to hit Ohtani? I didn't know Ohtani was immune from getting hit. And in fact, the last I checked, Ohtani got hit in the legs. Not that it feels good to get hit in the legs with whatever, how many mile, pitch he got hit in the legs. It's going to leave a bruise. It's going to hurt. It sucks. I get that. And I've never gotten hit by a major league pitch in my legs. So I'm sure that it doesn't feel good, right? It's not fun. But stop it with we must protect Ohtani at all costs. You're right. Let's protect all players at all costs. How about that? I'm tired of spinning this narrative of that's what makes these teams sometimes so hated by other fan bases is that when I'm going to use a term here that my son uses all the time, glazing somebody, which I love that term because it sounds so stupid and silly, but I like it. Or giving somebody so much hype or hanging on somebody's jock, we'll say, for lack of a better term, or to start to keep it PG if I can here, right? Stop hanging on these guys' jock. Maybe that's the problem with PCA. Everybody's talking about PCA, PCA, PCA. Maybe he has a great year this year and then he regresses next year. I don't know. I don't want to see that, of course. But again, let the people get flowers that want to get flowers. I'm just tired of people calling the MVP race. He is an MVP candidate. If he gets it, congratulations. But he said it on the radio on Friday. He'll gladly take a World Series championship over an MVP. I think that's great. Anyways, the series with St. Louis is going to be so pivotal and so important. I am going to be hanging on pins and needles with this series, and I hope that they at least take 3 out of 4. Because if they do not take 3 out of 4 and they split it, and they lose 3 out of 4, or God forbid they lose all 4 and get swept, that's bad. Then going into Houston, that's not good. I will come back here next Monday on a different rant, depending on what's going on. Before I go close out the show, I want to talk about something that came up, NBA, which I didn't know that it was going to come up, at least not over the summer, at least. So, as many of you who follow the NBA, if you don't, you would have saw it somewhere on a headline somewhere. Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA Finals last night after they won, or they beat the Indiana Pacers, I should say, last night in Game 7. Congratulations to them. They deserve it. I didn't have a dog in the race. Congratulations to them. Very much well deserved. Former Bull Alex Caruso won a championship. Excuse me, his second one. I know he won one during the bubble in 2020 with the Lakers. Congratulations to him. Really, to the entire team. It was a hard-fought series. It sucks that, there's that what if of, Halliburton doesn't get hurt. It was a what if, and it sucks. It really does. It really truly does suck. I wish them all the luck in the world moving forward. Hopefully, Indiana can get past this. Don't know how long Halliburton's going to be out, but hopefully they can get past this. And I just really would love to be talking about the Bulls and them making a chase for the title, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But the NBA topic I want to talk about here is ring culture. It came up in the last week with um, your goat and mine, and I say that very tongue in cheek, LeBron James. He said that it is weird that people make ring culture such a thing, and this was his quote, and I'm quoting him. So, or I'm paraphrasing his quote. Excuse me. Ring culture. Don't know why it's discussed so much in regard to him, in regard to me, said in regard to himself. Well, this is him saying this towards the end of his career because now he's starting to see that the chatter is starting to get louder as he's starting to get to the end of his career, whether it's this year or the next. Don't know how long he plans to play. I'm not saying the guy hasn't had a great career. The guy's not one of the greats. I will put him there. Where on the list of greats he gets put, that's a conversation that I've had on past podcasts. If you want to go review that, you know where I put him at, right? In regards to the true greats. But how is he going to tell me that ring culture is a thing when you started it? How did you start it? When you went from Cleveland and made the big decision to go to Miami with Wade and Bosh to go chase a ring. When that well dried up, you went back to Cleveland under the guise of, I want to bring a championship back home. Brings it back home. He is gone after he wins that championship, right? Goes to the Lakers, chases another championship there, right? So stop talking about ring culture is weird. You started it. And let me read you a quote from Charles Barkley where it says, let me get to my quote here. Excuse me, guys. It says, this is what Charles Barkley said, and I quote, so all of a sudden, LeBron is diminishing the value of an NBA title. Why the heck did he leave Cleveland to join Wade and the Miami Heat? Wasn't it to chase titles? What is what I just said. I can promise you that if he had more rings than losses, you wouldn't catch him saying that nonsense. Absolutely agree. But you know why? Because, as I said at the beginning of my statement, he is getting to the end of his career. The voices are getting louder. He cannot chase the ghost of Jordan. Nobody can get Michael Jordan out of their mouth when they're talking about greats and as far as rings and as far as how good are you even in that GOAT conversation? Michael Jordan was given the name the GOAT or said by his peers that he was the GOAT. You anointed yourself as the GOAT after you won that championship, right? You said after you beat Golden State, you said you were the GOAT. Nobody else said it. You did. You put that label on yourself. So now you got the ghost of Jordan really close to you. Why do I mean that? The ghost? It's because you're coming at the end of your career, and here comes Michael Jordan because NBC hired him to be a special contributor. I don't know if he'll show up maybe for the bigger games or what contributions he's going to bring. Time will tell, right? But I know that NBC paid him a lot of money, so I know he's going to appear more than a couple of times a season. And guess what's going to happen? Inevitably, somebody is going to ask him a question, and he is going to answer, and I hope in a very Jordan way, honestly and to the point. They're going to ask him about you, LeBron. And now, when the GOAT is coming back, the real GOAT, Michael Jordan, is coming back. Now that spotlight is no longer going to be on you because the minute that man becomes a special contributor, whether he is on the court, and I'm hoping that they get him on the court, even if it's not a Lakers game. Let's say, I don't know, they'll probably try to get him in for a Bulls, maybe, I don't know, Bulls, Indiana, or Bulls and somebody, right? Just to get him because that's the team he used to play for, excuse me. The spotlight's not going to be on you. You better hope that when he's doing these special contributions or these special contributor reports that he's doing, you hope that it's not in LA or even anywhere the Lakers are playing. Because guess what? Spotlight's not going to be on you. Everybody's going to be clamoring to him. When that man came out for the NBA 75, the best 75 players in the NBA during the All-Star break a couple of years ago, when that man came through that door, there's people who said that they saw, and again, I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in Jesus. I've said that before. I don't think I've ever denied it. I don't want to say religious because I don't have a religion. I practice a relationship with Jesus. I don't have a religion. I do. I practice Christianity, but I don't identify as say I'm religious. I just have a personal relationship with Jesus. But they said he had an aura. They saw him almost walking on air, right? Air Jordan. I'm not saying that this guy is anything a second coming or anything. That's the way people have described him. That's not my description of him. I'm simply saying that the attention was on him when that man walked into the room. That man got an ovation that was befitting of a man of his stature, of the GOAT of the NBA, the man that did things that were amazing, only God given. That's my opinion of it. What do you think is going to happen if that man shows up at one of your games? How many people are going to want to talk to you? You announce your retirement this year, I guarantee you he will overshadow him. Jordan's going to overshadow anybody. He's going to overshadow it. And he's not there to do that. That's not his purpose. He is there to serve his purpose, to work for NBC as a special contributor. Don't let that man get on the microphone and start spilling truth, because it's going to get really ugly and really nasty. Because remember, Shaquille's talked, Charles Barkley's talked, Stephen A. Smith has surely talked. Out of those three people I named, two of them are former players. One's just a blowhard, who sometimes is right some of the times, and that's Stephen A. Smith, right? If these guys are taking offense to what these guys are saying, former players are saying, what do you think they're going to do when Jordan criticizes something about them? Jordan's not going to stay quiet. I'm not going to say they're going to get into a spat on Twitter or a spat on the court. I don't know. But Jordan ain't going to back off. He's going to call it like he sees it. And I hope that he calls it like he sees it. Because this game, that's what it's missing. It's a lot of, participation trophies. Easy for me to say. Participation trophy. And not enough real criticism. There can be truth, there can be love, right? Can go hand in hand. You can say a very nice, loving comment, but it can be wrapped in the truth, right? And the NBA better get ready, because if they don't like what these guys are saying now, here comes somebody that you cannot dispute. Put LeBron's numbers against Jordan's numbers. Finals, playoffs, whatever you want to call it. The only thing he's got Jordan beat at is points. And guess what? A lot of things have changed since Jordan left the game. Rules, lots of different things. There's a thing called oh my God, what was the step called? Oh my goodness, I forgot what the name of the step was. Where you can almost take a third step, which would literally be called a travel. And it was a support or some sort of step, it was called it. I heard it last night. I told my son, do you know anything about this? Yeah, you can do that now. Really? So a lot of the rules have changed, just like in all sports, like baseball and football, there's been different rules, right? So different eras, different rules, right? So you can't judge LeBron on the same lens that you would judge Jordan, but a lot of people are, because based on what counts. At the end of the day, you could be a great player, but if you have not won a championship, you're not in the discussion. You're a great player, but there's always going to be a but. But, right? Patrick Ewing was a great center, but, right? Shaquille was great, but, and he did win his championship. Charles Barkley was great, but, right? There's always going to be that but. So LeBron is going to hear it for the rest of his career. He anointed himself this GOAT status. He's going to hear it. You cannot go out there and make those statements and not get reamed on them. Ring culture. Really? 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 The man who started it, who started this whole ring culture thing, is going to come back and say, ring culture is weird. No, you're weird, dude. Anyways, that's my time. I hope you guys have a great week.